Hey everybody, what's happening? Well, it's time for another Q&A again. Nope, not about skulls, not about busts, leaf applique. Nope, it's all about vibration. And I think I did a short video or mentioned it in another video once before, but this is a question from a DIY mold member, Pollock. Had asked me just to go over some things with what I recommended or what I know about vibration and different things. He said he's getting sick and tired of tap, tap, tap with the hammer. I mean, that's how I started out too, was banging stuff on the table and tap, tap, tap with the hammer. So I'll just go through sort of what I've had or what I've used for experience-wise. So the reason you're using vibration is you're trying to get your concrete to go nicely and smoothly into your mold inside. You're still going to have to, even with vibration, even if with a V table like I have, with tricky ones like this. I should have had the other model here, but this is an angel with wings and upside down, obviously. So there's lots of places where air is going to accumulate in the back, in the wings here, in this curved area, under the chin, usually always. So even when I vibrate, I still give it a tilt towards where I think the air is trapped, and like we've always referred to that as burping. So you'll give it a lean like that, and then you're going to give it just a couple quick taps with a hammer, or if you have a vibrator or a V table, you can just give it a tilt while it's vibrating and hopefully bring those bubbles up. So you know, even with a V table, you'll still get some bugs, but it's definitely to a lesser extent, that's for sure. So anyway, I started out with this. Worked not bad for a few years. You do get tired of it. It's a long process. You're putting in a little bit at a time, and you tap, 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 and putting a little bit in, and tap, tap, tap. It can get frustrating after a while. So what I did was I just finished throwing one out, and I think I did show it in the video. It was an old 1950s little hand massager, little tiny thing, and I used to actually hold that onto the sides of it actually had quite a bit of torque to it, so it actually did not a bad job of vibrating. So then I've got this one. You can still buy them, the same company. I can't even read what the company is anymore. I think Amazon sells them. I think I've seen them on eBay. They're not cheap. I think they're nearly 300 bucks. I mean, they might be cheaper in the States, but this little guy, as you can see, he's got a low and a high speed. But what he used to be great for was if you had you filled your mold, and I would just take, this is hard to do with one hand, is set him on top and turn him on and press down on it on the two handles, and you actually got a lot of vibration when you push down on the table. It worked really great. Like, I used it for lots of small models for ages. I still do now sometimes, even if I don't want to fire up the V table quick. I'll just grab that sucker, and it's starting to make some funny noises. I mean, after 7 years in a commercial use, it was supposed to be for back massages, but I don't think it was made for commercial concrete. But it worked great. If you ever see one at a garage sale or something, grab it. This is another one. Remember I was saying the small hand one? I've heard lots of people use old little palm sanders, and they actually have pretty good vibration too, just for holding on to the outsides of your molds to give it a quick buzz. Next step up is it's a little bit bigger than what we call a pencil vibrator. This one, here, I'll fire it up. So that's for putting, I use that when I do my big bird baths, or like a really big pillar, or something in a big sauna tube. You drop that in, give it a couple squeezes there, and it does a pretty good job. I still give it a tap with a hammer afterwards too, with that thing. And then there's this. We refer to this as Saturday night at the Grizz household. But no, this is a big commercial vibrator for when you're doing like outside walls of a house. If you're setting your basement, they drop this while the pumper is pumping in the concrete. Somebody would be up on the top plate, and they're dropping this down and pulling it back up and down along the length of the wall to get the concrete to settle down into there and not get too many air pockets. And then, so we moved that. I mean, obviously it doesn't have any use for us. I think a guy that uses this is Tuscany. He has some pretty big molds, some big like Tuscan style or Roman style or Greek style full-size pillars. They look like they're like 12 or 15 feet tall. I'm sure he drops something like that in it as he's filling it to get the concrete to settle down, for sure. But so then this is my V table here. And what I can tell you is I'm excited for Drama. Just got himself a used one there. He's going to love it. So mine is pneumatic. So it's air driven. So I don't know if you can see the motor. It's just underneath there with a little muffler on it. It's pretty noisy when you get it up. I just moved a year ago. I moved my compressor outside so you don't hear the compressor running all the time. With something like, with a pneumatic one like this, you need a good size compressor. You can't work off one of those little portable nailer kinds. You need a big 60-gallon to get this thing ripping, because it goes through the air pretty quick. Things I could tell you about this one as opposed to a table mount. I've never used a table mount. I've seen them, never used one before. They have to be securely mounted. So what I learned about this one when I designed this one for the metal fab guy, I got him to put tires on it, little casters, so I could move it around easy with locking wheels. The problem was Tuscany straightened me out right away in a private message, and he said, for crap's sakes, he says, get those wheels off there, because all you're doing is bouncing up and down on the little rubber treads on them. They weren't thick pneumatic tires, but just rubber, so it would bounce. And he said, you need it more solid, put it on the ground. So I put it on the ground with really good results right away. And then when he was here for his visit in the spring, we actually used some wedges, and I don't know if you can see there, we mounted it right to the floor, so it's bolted right to the floor. It really gives it a lot of action. Like, it really responds much better than it used to before. It's really ripping now. If you use something like a plasticizer too, like I do, you're in your commercial mix, you got really good flowability, and with the V table on top of it, it goes really quick. It sure speeds up your pour time, that's for sure. Like a big huge full-size bench, which is about the same size as the V table, the mold just fits in there. I mean, in about a minute and a half I can have the thing finished and done and off the table, and not a bug to be seen in the thing. So it's really cool. If you haven't seen one of these rip, I don't know, I've just put some sand on the table here and a bucket of water, so you can sort of see what's going to happen. I'll turn it on, but it's going to be a little noisy, so just hold on. So I can vary the speed too, just with that valve. That's what I was doing towards the end there. You can pick it up or you can slow it down. Sometimes you have to play with your models. Sometimes they respond to a different sort of a frequency in the vibration. Sometimes the low end is best. But most of the time is what I'll just have it ripping open. I'll put 3-4 molds down and like a half scoop, and just keep going in. And you can go pretty quick with the V-table running. So the big thing with the V-table is just make sure you have it secured. If it's on a table, make sure the table it's secured or bolted to the table, and the table's not bouncing around. If you have one on the floor model, make sure you secure it right to the floor, and they work fantastic. So the only other thing I want to say about vibration is you run into a problem. You can over vibrate. You have to be careful. If your mix has got too much water in it, you run into the problem. It's called segregation, and what happens is it basically separates is all the big aggregate and the cement, everything goes to the bottom, the sand, and what rises to the top is the water, and it's completely useless if something like that happens. So you do have to be careful that you don't over vibrate something, or that your mix is a really good mix, so you can avoid that. So anyway, this is just a quick vid for Pollock, and I hope that helped him out a bit. If he wants to ask me some further questions or what, you can pop me another message in the old PM box. And thanks for watching, everybody. Bye bye.